everyone, my name is Sureka for the Diaries of Sureka TV. Actually, coming from the headquarters of Diaries of Sureka. So what is Diaries of Sureka? Diaries of Sureka is a web-based content which I started 3 years ago. Is do that often, such as twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, and I just make video content about my personal experience, such as reviews, tutorials, hit or misses, and so much more. That's not today's video, but for more information, if you guys want to see what the web-based content is, I will provide you guys an annotation and the links will be listed below. And to start today's discussion is show me your pick, where I show you what my pick is. And I actually did it on social work because after graduating from my diploma program of social service worker, I want to be a social worker. That's why I wanted to choose this profession. And to start off with the questions. So what is the history profession in Canada? So I chose as my profession. The history of this profession was founded in 1926. 85 years later, this organization was developed into a federal organization organizing social workers' access to the country. What types of organizations employ someone in this profession? The types of organizations employ someone in this profession is government agencies and non-profit organizations, which would an example would be that hospitals, federal, municipal, provincial governments, hospitals, institutional health and social service organizations, and schools, hospitals, emergency rooms, director of social work, public health and eviction, careers with the government and stuff. What are the main duties of someone employed in this profession? So the first, they would do an intake. Like if someone was trying to apply for Ontario Works, they would have to go through intake, and then that intake would at least be like 3 to 4 weeks, and then from that the person may or may not be eligible. And if the person is eligible, then they would have to do an assessment. And then after the assessment, they would have to go through a referral because they would probably be eligible to get Ontario Works. And then after the referral, they would see the caseworker on a 3-month term basis or like a monthly basis to see what their status is and to see how they're doing financially. What is the typical salary or hourly rate someone starting out in this profession? So what I came across Indeed.com, and through Indeed I chose Toronto Public Health Counselor Needle Exchange, and it's in the section of communicable disease control. The address for this place is 277 Victoria Street in Toronto, Ontario. The job stream is health. Job type is temporary full-time. Temporary duration is about 9 months. The hourly salary rate is 37,032 to 40,087. And that's 70 hours a week. The shift is Monday to Friday, 35 hours per week. So I spoke to an actual social worker that dealt with me in my case, just working in this profession. And my social worker's name is Kristen Villanueva. Her information would be like posted here somewhere. She told me that the current challenge is working in this profession is to get the job as a social worker, because most of the companies are willing to accept only volunteer, and all the companies actually just want to recruit volunteers. So she even told me if I really wanted to be a social worker, just go out there and volunteer. And basically I was like, oh, but I don't really like volunteering. And I said that, and she's like, oh, that's how you're gonna get your foot in the door. There are not many jobs out there to become a social worker right now, and many of the agencies and the jobs want more volunteers and want you to volunteer instead of just getting on job like that. And more volunteers are needed. And it also comes back to funding, because the government of Ontario does not give out so much funds to let people get hired. And I feel that's a stigma for the whole government, because that's a lot of jobs, and creating jobs do need to have funding. And when you don't have funding, it's like creating a stigma and not getting that job. Because for the longest time, I've never had a real part-time job or a real job to like focus into, and it's been a struggle for me to get a job basically on what my whole situation was, because I've always wanted a job, but then I couldn't get that job. Like, it's really hard for me to get a job when I'm not in school. Like, if it's a summer break, it's really, really hard for me to get that, because I come from a low-income family, and being in a part of Toronto, such as Melbourne, it's kind of hard, because basically my address, like, some people say that the employers look at addresses. And speaking of that, like, that really hurts the fact that why are these employers judging based on what this person lives by? And I think it all goes back to funding, because without funding, no one will get a job like that. And so, like I said, funding is not enough to hire a social worker. With a degree, you can't get a job. You still need to get more schooling, she told me. You will also need to get a lot of schooling to complete with a certified degree or diploma. With a degree or diploma. To work as a social worker through the City of Toronto, the City of Toronto does not actually employ or like hire a lot of social workers on task. Like, they don't just do hiring fairs so often. That's what she told me. And because the city does not even have money to give out like that to hire people. And so what the city does is they just hire in batches. Like, I don't know how often they do that, but that's what she told me. They just hire in batches. And if you're the lucky one, and if you get hired through a batch, you're really lucky to even get that job through the City of Toronto. Which is why it's really good to volunteer through an organization or a company, so you know the faces, and that face will come back and say, for example, if I was working with Cindy Brandon, and she used to be my employer, and when I did my volunteering with Cindy Brandon, so she would know me and be like, hey, Sureka, I know you from before, why don't you come back to my company, or why don't you come back to where I'm working and stuff. And I'll be like, okay, I liked working with you, and it would be nice to work with you again. So, which is why you need those connections to get the job of where you want to go. What education is required for this profession, and what further educational opportunities exist in this profession? So if I was a student going from going from the program George Brown to Ryerson, I would have to go through a 2-year 4-semester program, and it would be a full-time program. The tuition would be $3,695, and I would have to get 630 hours of field placement. But I'm also going to graduate with Bachelor's of Social Work, BSW, MSW, and BA, and that would be successfully graduating. And if I was to Ryerson, I would do a 4-year program, and then the fees would be $7,248 to $7,826. And like I said, it's 4 years. The wait list is, however, the wait list is 80% to 86% to get into Ryerson. But there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of job market. And it's also a direct entry, and that's one of the key features. And for placement hours, you have to complete 840 hours of placement. And you also get a basic knowledge of the social work brand, and social work is a broad topic. Ryerson graduates promote social justice and equity by helping individuals to access multiple social services in order to meet their financial needs and accomplish their goals. For the placements, you also get a 3 and 4 year placements, and it's also introducing you to the social service sector of the program, and you also begin to develop knowledge and skills. And the placement is running from September to April. That's 14 hours a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And for the promotion, but they'll have a promotion in their social service changes and to get a better salary. What are the future trends for this position? What are the future trends for this profession? Is this profession expected to grow in the future? I think the future trends is that it will, there is going to be more jobs available. It's not like there's going to be not many jobs out there. There will be jobs. I'm assuming that there will be jobs in, government agencies such as social work and government offices and everything like that. And there is room for growing, because if I was to go through agencies, or if I was to get the college certificate to get into the healthcare sector of social work, I would be able to grow like that as well. And like I said, there's a lot of job markets in Toronto. I guess this completes the video portion of this project. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I appreciate all the time and since you guys came to the end of this video. If you still want to see my YouTube series, they'll be listed below, and annotations will be listed here. And I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!